Should young children with special needs be included in traditional classrooms? My position on this subject is against. During the 1930s, parents were able to make the choice for their child to where their education should be provided. Some of the choices that the parents made were they received their education at home, they had to pay for a private school, or they had to pay for a private tutor. So nothing was really being done back in the day for special needs children. However, they were still being kept together and being with special needs, not being with inclusion, being with all the other kids, regular kids. I believe that inclusion does not respect the parents' desire to provide the specialized attention for their child's educational needs, because I feel that special needs children need to be with a specialized teacher in that department. For me personally, if I had a very more or less so aggressive special needs child in my classroom, it'd be very difficult for me to provide what they 100% fully need, all the attention they need, all the requirements that go along with helping a special needs child. It would be very, very difficult for them to learn to their ability and for me to help them to their ability, because it wouldn't be fair for me, them, the other children. It would just be a whole complex situation altogether. And I feel the appropriate amount of time during class that needs to be devoted to a specialized individual, I feel that the time should be 100%. I feel that for them to progress in their learning, they constantly need to have a teacher be there. They constantly need to have somebody right there to help them. And their patience could be short as well, which means that a teacher needs to be ready on set when the child needs help and guiding them through the learning process, which is more difficult for a child with special needs than it is for a child who is not special needs. The requirements for special needs is more enhanced, should I say, than a regular child. The teachers are constantly there with them. I have been in a classroom and it is nothing but special needs. And there's so much help in one classroom, and one teacher is specifically on one child. And they are constantly having to sit by them and be there with them and walk with them. So it's a constant thing so I feel that the attention needs to be there all the time. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act was developed so that it was ensured an education in a public school would be afforded to a child with special needs, no matter what the disability they had. That act helped parents be able to put their child in public schools. And so the question is, are we really following the guideline by mainstreaming children of various achievement levels into one classroom with one, possibly two teachers, and how then are their educational requirements being met? I believe that the guidelines for special needs are not being met if they are in a public school with other children in an included classroom. It is a struggle. I know that I believe too that special needs children deserve the same amount of education, the same amount of opportunities as other children. However, I believe that they get that opportunity and that education in a different way. There are schools specifically made for smart children, and now they have started today, present day, there are specific schools presented to children with special needs. In Clearwater, they have one, Paul B. Stevens, and I did a lot of volunteer work in high school there. They're specifically geared toward kids with special needs. They have the teachers permitted there. So they have constant teachers in the classroom there to help the child, to help them, their educational needs be met. So with this act, the guidelines of it, I do not believe a special needs child can achieve what they want in a public school, in a traditional classroom. Some disadvantages for a special needs child in a traditional classroom is that they are unlikely to receive the specialized services they need. They're trying to save money by downsizing special education services, just throwing them in with the other kids, which can cause so much conflict. Their appropriateness of the education children with special needs may receive in a traditional classroom. The special needs children are not on the same level as other children in the classroom. Some might be, but others may lack in that. So it's hard to just throw them in. You're in 3rd grade and their mentality is still in 1st grade. So it's very hard to put them in a traditional classroom. A couple other disadvantages would be a regular classroom teacher have little to no training in special education, and teachers may place unrealistic demands on special needs children as a result. This can cause them to be stressed out from this. Some disadvantages for non-disabled children are seen as unfair to typically developing students. Teachers tend to give more time and attention to children with special needs, and mainstreaming could lead to children developing negative attitudes about peers with special needs due to the attention that they do receive. So for the whole dynamic of a classroom, it is very, very difficult for a special needs child to be included into a traditional classroom. Some discussion post questions are: how do you feel about this topic? How do you see the future of children with special needs in education? And what are a couple of disadvantages for a special needs child being in a traditional classroom? Thank you.